But I mean, it's definitely a cult film. So I understand why the masses probably were like, what the fuck is this? I don't get it. But no, I've loved this film since I've seen it, since I watched it the first time. I completely got it. So, but what are you guys' thoughts on the film?
First. Ladies first.
It's your pick,
well,
yeah.
I mean, I just love this film. I think after... I actually like Devil's Rejects better. But, I don't know, it's just nuts. And I love Dwight, a.k.a. Rainn Wilson. And it's just weird seeing him in a different setting. But I actually saw that first, so...
Anybody who doesn't know, he's from The Office.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's fucking weird seeing him in that movie. He's just like, what?
Yeah.
The randomest role ever.
Yeah, but I mean, I really like I don't know, just like the crazy scenes. I think it's a little too much. Yeah, like you said, it's for different kind of viewers, but
well, it's definitely it's a throwback to 70s exploitation. So if you don't like that, that kind of genre, if you're not a genre fan, of course you're going to be like, this is garbage or whatever, because he's going for a specific theme and it's just off the rails. It gets good. It's one of those movies that gets progressively worse and worse and worse till you're like, to the point where you're like, what am I even watching?
Yeah, that was what I was feeling.
By the end, you're just like, what? Like, what is even happening? But I love that kind of stuff. And I think that's that Rob makes movies that he wants to see, or what, you know what I mean, or like, because before House of a Thousand Corpses, I feel like there wasn't really crazy stuff like that. He probably set the stage for the kind of, even the torture stuff, like Hostel and Saw and all those films, because before House of a Thousand Corpses, people were doing like I Know What You Did Last Summer and the kind of teenage, all these stuff aimed at teenagers and
Or that Scream. I mean, I'm not hating on Scream, but...
Yeah, but it's all like the same, kind of the same feel. There was nothing really kind of grindhousey out there until House of a Thousand Corpses, and then that opened the gate, at least for mainstream studios, to be like, hey, there's an audience for this type of stuff, and then all these, all these things followed after and got greenlit, and I believe it's because of House of a Thousand Corpses.
I can see that.
But going to you, James, so you're the only one who hasn't seen this film probably a few times. So on your first ever watch, what did you think?
It was definitely different. Like you said, it's kind of... I would agree on you with how you said the movie progressively gets weirder and kind of off its rocker. But yeah, especially towards the end. But it was good. It was entertaining. And it was fun. I'd watch it again.
Nice. Would you buy it? That's the question.
Yeah, I'd buy it.
You'd buy it?
Yeah.
Cool. Do you? So now that you've seen both, what do you prefer? Devil's Rejects or House?
Devil's Rejects. I just feel like that one is... I don't know why, actually.
Honestly...
But that one is just better in kind of all the aspects of it.
Honestly, if from a personal perspective, I think Devil's Rejects is just better because he fixed his mistakes from the first one. It just feels like this kind of veteran filmmaker going out and making the, like, it's so it's almost, Devil's Rejects is like fucking flawless. If you watch it, the editing, the sound design, the acting, the every scene to scene, it's just it's way more put together. But having said that, without House of a Thousand Corpses, he wouldn't have that backbone that makes Devil's Rejects so good, because people who've seen House of a Thousand Corpses, they enjoy Devil's Rejects so much more. So that's why I appreciate this film in another light, I guess.
Yeah. I guess Devil Rejects, he's more of a seasoned director. Like you said, he learned his mistakes and became a better director for that.
do you guys have, before we talk more about this film, what are you guys' thoughts on any, have you guys seen his filmography, the other stuff that he's done, like the Halloween films?
I think the only criticism I have is just he's obsessed with rape in most of his fucking films, which is, I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's kind of a staple of Rob Zombie now. But I think you put it perfectly. Without him, there wouldn't be a bunch of gory films that we have now. I think, we wouldn't have directors like Robert Rodriguez venturing into out there. And I mean, Tarantino was out there, but it wasn't like that out there compared to like that at that time, you know. And Rob is a horror film fucking fan.
Oh yeah.
So I will always support somebody that's fan of his films and stuff. And I mean, was it his first? Was it his first film?
House, yeah. Yeah, his very first venture off.
Wow.
He was just like this rock star that was like, I'm gonna do this, you know, and they gave him the money. And I don't want to give away some facts, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, he had a bunch of problems actually with making this movie, getting it distributed and stuff, but we'll get into that later. What do you guys want to do now? Do you want to start talking about the film, like scene to scene?
Sure.
Do you want to start? Do you want me to start? You want to start, Lizette?
Hold on, let me pull up my notes. So I guess the first scene, I guess what stood out to me was how they're like hands up and he's like putting up his middle fingers.
Oh yeah.
Just like he doesn't give a fuck, and
Captain
it's
Spaulding.
pretty funny. And I think like us, I mean, it's hard for me to kind of like detach myself from already knowing what's gonna happen, but for somebody that hasn't seen it, like, did you put two and two together and be like, okay, Captain Spaulding's gonna be at the end? Like, I feel like the end, even though it was like it was gonna happen, it was kind of like surprising. Like, I don't know, if I would have seen it for the first time, I would have been like, oh my god, I would have never thought that the brother was in the back.
I was surprised when he pops up at the end, but I've seen the Devil's Rejects, so I was like, I know he's like he's with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
you might as well have not seen anything.
Yeah, I was kind of like, oh, like it did surprise me.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so I wasn't expecting that, but I knew they were kind of in relation somehow. Yeah.
I just want to say that opening sequence is just marvelous because it's a throwback to like that old school horror film kind of thing, and that was just like, ooh, that was on point. I give props to Rob about that shit because that was cool. That to me stood out a lot more.
Yeah.
I feel like there were a lot of scenes that kind of reminded me of like People Under the Stairs or like Creature from the
Black Lagoon.
Yeah, like I don't know, and it was again like shifting from the teeny horror movies that were going on around that time to lead the way to like The Conjuring or some just different kinds of horror movies.
I dig that. But so when the movie starts, we meet our Captain Spaulding, who is this kind of deranged clown who runs a gasoline and fried chicken shop / museum thing, and he gets these two assholes try to run up on them and rob them, and Spaulding's just like, hey, get out of here.
Yeah.
And they're not having it. They're like, come on, just give us the money. Pretty much.
Fuck your mama.
And they fight for a while, and the robbers end up getting murdered over it. And I think that's to show you that Spaulding is still kind of a bad person. But you don't really think about that because they don't interconnect him with the Fireflies until the end.
Yeah.
So if you hadn't seen Devil's Rejects, that really does get you at the ear. Like, oh shit! Like he's part of their family. So I really like that you caught that.
Yeah.
But what else happens next?
Yeah, that's when they show the
where it's the title sequence.
Yeah.
the title sequence is fucking insane in this. It sets the tone, the mood completely for the film. It shows a bunch of weird, like, negative. There's like nudity and like like dentistry going on and like random body parts and
it's like porn playing in the background and there's like people getting killed and shit, dismembered. And
to one of Rob's songs. And let me say something. So when even if you're a director, whatever you are, actor, I hate when people put their own music in their films, but for some reason, Rob Zombie gets away with it every time. I'm like, that's cool, you know, like you could do whatever you want, man. But usually, I'm really hard on that. But it does work for what he does. I don't know. I guess he's one in a million or something. But yeah, I really love the title sequence. Then we meet our two couples who are on a kind of a road trip. Mary, Denise, Jerry, and Bill. They stop and they interact with Spaulding sometime after the murder. He's still cleaning up the murder, I think, when they come in.
Yeah.
And he's actually pretty okay with them. He's nice. He shows them around, and they find out there's a murder ride.
Yeah.
And I think it's Jerry. He's obsessed with this kind of local legend of Dr. Satan. And so they go on this murder ride, and they kind of take them through all the different serial killers, the popular serial killers of each era. And Dr. Satan, although he's the fictional one, is one of the parts. And so after they complete the ride, Jerry's still obsessed, and he's and they're looking for basically a map, because I guess
because he was hung on a tree. And
Spaulding during the ride he says that Dr. Satan was actually hung not too far from where you guys are at now. So then they beg him basically for a map to go see the fucking site, because they're writing this kind of like sideshow book on the crazy stuff that you see going along, from state to state. All while Denise is trying to get to her dad's house, who's expecting them the next day, and this is all taking place on All Hallows Eve.
Yeah.
Right the day before Halloween, and so they're on their way to see the spot. It's like super raining. And they run into none other than Baby.
Yeah.
Hitchhiking on the side of the road, because that's not weird or anything. And they pick her up, even though the girls are like, oh.
I like his reasoning. It's like, well, it's raining outside. We can't just
leave her out here. That's fucked up.
Yeah, you can.
But anyway, they pick her up. She's super weird. Right out the gate, she seems like she would be a serial killer if it was me. So then they pick her up. They're listening to music. They head down the road, and her brother shoots the tire out of their car as a kind of a setup. They think that they've just gotten a flat. Jerry forgot to pack the spare. Of course, he's Chris Hardwick from Talking Dead. Who's actually had a rough go of it recently, but he's in this film. He looks a little different. A lot of people probably forgot he's in this, but yeah. Anyway, so he shoots a tire out, and they get pissed because they're stranded, pretty much. And Baby says, "Oh, don't worry, my brother
can tow the car back
my brother has a tow truck service. My house is a couple miles down the road. I'll take you." And so Bill says, hey, not everybody needs to get soaked. So I'm gonna go alone. Because it's always a good idea to split up, right? So they go with Baby. Where Bill goes with Baby to the house, and it's like a super fucking creepy house with
their
dolls on the wall and shit. And what else happens? She takes him inside. They start flirting together, and
the tow truck picks up the car.
and then he's like, oh, I